Hello guys, my name is Merriby, and in this video, we're going to talk about what neuroplasticity is and how you can use it. The fundamental idea that you need to keep in mind when thinking about neuroplasticity is the following. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Scientists believed for the longest time that our brain doesn't change and that once we hit a certain point in adulthood, our brain would stop developing. But a scientific breakthrough in neurology brought up this amazing concept called neuroplasticity. And scientists found that the brain actually never stops developing and it is constantly changing on a physical and chemical level. So the brain is made out of billions and billions of neural structures all interconnected together and that guide us through our everyday lives. So when we face a situation and we react in a certain way over and over again, this will eventually create a neural structure. So at one point, every single time we face this situation, the neural structure is automatically activated and we react in the exact same way we are used to react. So neuroplasticity explores this side of our brain that is plastic, our side of our brain that is actually changeable, that you can change physically and chemically. And the thing is, even if you already formed a neural structure, you can always change it or break it. So picture the brain as a map. All the neural structures that are formed through our lives, every thought, action, emotion, and behavior we went through made this map of neural structures that is now in our head. And the thing is, we can either follow this map or we can change this map. Every time we do the same action or we have the same thought, we are reinforcing this neural structure. We are reinforcing this pathway in our brain. But when we start acting or reacting differently, we start creating a new pathway. And if we keep repeating the process, this new pathway will become the new dominant pathway that predicates our action, thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. And the old pathway will be used less and less and less until the neural structure breaks. And this brings us to another main neuroplasticity concept, which is use it or lose it. If you use the pathway over and over and over again, you're going to make it wire. Neurons that fire together, wire together. But if you don't use it, you will lose it. This neural structure, this pathway will break. And your thought patterns, behaviors, and emotions will start being predicated based on the new pathway, the new neural structure. And this process is called the brain rewiring, and we all have the ability to rewire our brain, but it just takes a little bit of focused action, repetition, and consistency. Think about a bad habit that you had at one point in time that you changed into a good habit. This is you rewiring your brain. Think about a bad behavior that you did over and over and over again that eventually became a habit. This is you also rewiring your brain. This is you creating a new neural structure, a new pathway per se. So with consistent, repetitive, and focused action, you can rewire your brain. You can change your thoughts, your thought patterns, your behaviors, your habits, your emotions, your emotional stability and control. You can rewire everything. Your brain is plastic. You can actually change its physical and chemical form if you use the principles of neuroplasticity properly. And all it takes is repetitive action towards you breaking the old neural structure that you had and forming a new neural structure. Stop using the old pathway that you are using over and over and over again and use a new pathway that will become a new neural structure that predicates your actions, thoughts, and behaviors. So to sum it up, you gotta keep two principles in mind. First, neurons that fire together will wire together. And the second principle, use it or lose it. So the first exercise I want to talk about is called mantras or affirmations. Tony Robbins talked about this concept in one of his seminars. He said, and you can also try it yourself, if you go for a run every single day for an hour, if you go for an hour of exercising every single day for a month, and you keep repeating while exercising, you keep repeating the affirmation saying, I'm unstoppable, I'm unstoppable, I'm unstoppable. Guess what's gonna be stuck in your head after a month? And you can be listening to those affirmations, you can be repeating them out loud or even repeating them in your brain or doing all of that at once. All of those work. There are two affirmations that I personally used a lot that helped me tremendously. The first one is, I am the master of my thoughts, habits, and emotions. And the second one is really similar, but you just change the word master to the word control. You say, I am in control of my thoughts, habits, and emotions. And there are also other affirmations such as, I am calm, I am relaxed, I am confident, I am comfortable in social situations. There's a huge list online that you can go check out. Just go look for affirmations for anxiety and you will find a bunch that you can use, but make sure to use them consistently on a daily basis for about half an hour. And believe me, in a month, you'll see tremendous change. Another thing that I tried that also found to be very effective is writing down those affirmations. Make it a habit to force yourself to sit down and write down these affirmations, and this can also be really helpful. The second exercise that you can use that's also extremely effective is meditation or mindfulness. And meditation is not that complicated. If you already meditate, that's amazing. But if you don't, and if you're not doing it because you think it's too complicated, it's so easy. And I'll give you an exercise that you can try every single day in a second. But meditation is also something that should be used on a consistent basis. And the exercise is simple. Focus on your breath. Sit down comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Be aware of your breath coming in and coming out. And if you try this breathing exercise and you find that it's a bit hard for you to grasp the mindfulness concept, there are plenty of guided meditation videos on YouTube that you can use, and there are plenty of apps on the App Store or the Google Play Store that you can use. In the description below, I put a link for one of my favorite apps. It's called Calm, and you can use it. It is life-changing. It has meditation exercises for different purposes and also for anxiety. And the last exercise we want to talk about is called the Bracelet Technique. It's one of the most effective techniques that you can use. I've used it personally, not just for anxiety, but for a lot of other things, and it works really well. So what you need to do is you need to get an elastic bracelet and put it on your wrist. Now, every time you feel that there are some anxious thoughts arising, what you're gonna do is you're not gonna overthink it, because when you're anxious and you start overthinking, you start thinking that you shouldn't be feeling this way, that you don't like the way you feel, you're just gonna end up feeling worse. You're just gonna end up feeling more anxious. That's how it is. You need to accept those feelings and those thoughts. Be aware that they're there. And once it happens, you become aware that those thoughts are there, but don't judge the thoughts. Just snap the elastic bracelet on your wrist and then go and try your best. Challenge yourself to do or face the thing that's making you anxious. Whatever it is, whether it's a social situation or talking to someone, just go and do it. Even if you just do it for a second, challenge yourself to go and do it. And once you do it, reward yourself. Whatever the reward is, pick something that you really like or that you really enjoy doing and pick it as a reward. And what's happening is you're rewiring your brain. Every single time you are aware of anxious thoughts, you're not judging them, but you're snapping the bracelet on your wrist and you are associating those anxious thoughts with physical pain. And us as human beings, we like to avoid pain and embrace pleasure. This is how our psychology works. We don't like to do the things that give us pain, but we like to do the things that give us pleasure. So when you're associating anxious thoughts with physical pain, your brain is starting to get used to the thought that every single time you have these thoughts, you're gonna feel physical pain. And then you go do it, and once you do whatever it is that you were scared of doing, whatever it is that's making you anxious, you actually do it, and you reward yourself. You are also rewiring your brain to think that every single time you do something that you're scared of doing, something that you're anxious of doing, you are gonna get pleasure out of it. First, the satisfaction of actually overcoming whatever it is that was stopping you, overcoming and facing whatever it is that's making you anxious. And second, the reward that you are giving yourself. Whatever it is that you pick as a reward, give yourself this reward after you face your fear, after you face the object that's making you anxious. And once you do that and you repeat the process, those 3 exercises, it's very simple. Repeat those 3 exercises on a daily basis, and they take you no more than 45 minutes a day, and it is worth it. 45 minutes a day, try those 3 exercises for a month, and I can assure you, you will notice tremendous change. You will change and you will rewire your brain into a healthier and way less anxious brain, and you will lead a way healthier life, healthier thoughts, thought patterns, behaviors, and emotions. I want to thank you all very much for watching this video. If you like it, please like and subscribe to know when I'm going to be releasing new videos for you.